Hey everybody, it's Vex. It's been a while since I made another video, so I'm gonna make one. Uh, I am going to make for my next expanded Tomb of Annihilation. I believe this is part four. One, two, three. Yeah, this is part four. I'm gonna go ahead and work on a jungle map. This jungle map is gonna have several different variants, though. We're gonna make a day version, a night version, a day version with a road, night version with a road, and then a version with a camp at night and a camp version at night with a road, because you don't camp during the day. At least not in an adventure. If you're relaxing and trying to get away from the city to get away from the coronavirus, some people go camping. But we're gonna go ahead and do this one with the jungle, or not jungle. It's the forest clearing. We're gonna use some of this grass. I think I'm not going to make it super thick. I'm going to use the one that's sparse. And I don't ever hardly ever use this night one. It's just too dark. I am going to make it a 25 by 25 map, which means I have to put down 6 of these to get it big enough. And I'm going to do something. I haven't done this before in a video, but I'm going to show you what I'm doing here. I'm going to kind of mark where the edges of my map is. I think we'll just use the snow texture. Oops. It hasn't loaded in yet. Come on. There it goes. So there's one. There's one. And then we need to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So right here. And then right there. So inside those 4 corners is actually the edge of our map. And I'm going to group these and call them edge. And I'm going to group all of these and just call it grass. And we'll go ahead and throw some rocks and stuff on there first, because I like to start with the rocks and pile things on top of the rocks. Everything is so big here on the bottom of the screen. I'm going to go down to about 70. There we go. I like to start with the base rocks first, although I'm thinking I might use some of those dark brown rocks I did, and I'm trying to remember where I stuck those. I made those in another video, I believe. Are they in Dungeon Builder Dark? No. Are they just in... I could have swore I was just here, but I didn't see them. Nope. So... Underdark terrain tokens? Oh, yeah, that's where they are. I want to use some of these rocks, these dark brown ones. I think will look good with the green. So, let me click random angle. And I'm just going to use a few of these, not a whole lot. Maybe one big one, just to give it some flair. And I'm probably going to stick our camp over here. So I want to leave that space kind of empty a little bit. Do I want any more of these rocks? Maybe one little pile. Not even sure how much of this is going to show up because I haven't put the... And now I'm going to go ahead and group all of those. And rocks. And now we're going to go to the jungle set. And I want to put down some shrubbery and bushes. Oh, actually, you know what? We need to do our road before we do that. Just on top of the... we gotta wait for the... There it is. Now it's loaded in. Do I want the little dash marks? I think I do. And actually, I'm going to make this a little bit narrower. And I think I'm going to have the path go north to south. And the reason I have most of my paths in especially for these Chult maps, go north to south, is I find a lot of the travel seems to be going north to south anyway. Although so far in my own games, I haven't really used maps with roads in them, or not necessarily a road, but a path. I make these like a path. Uh, but I know that some people might want to include like, oh, there's a game trail or something in their description. So I'm gonna go ahead and I am clicking several times. You'll notice that there's several different things showing up over on the side, and the reason I do that is so that you get some variation in the pattern. And about like that. Oh, my mouse seemed to have stuck there. Don't know why. Sometimes Dungeon Painter does that. Just we'll put something there. Okay, and then I'm gonna group all of this together, and we'll call this path is more accurate than road. And then I like to take the opacity down to about 80, which does show, it just makes it a little bit lighter. I mean, if you look really close, you can see through it, and you can see the little, like the grass tile there. And it doesn't matter because we're going to cover it up with a particular object from this. We're going to use the foliage. I am going to turn off the random angle because I do want them all kind of matching the grass. If you look at the grass is kind of going in this direction, but I mean, if I really wanted to, I could do a custom angle and go like this, and then they match even more. We'll try that. We'll see if that looks a little bit better. Maybe even a little bit like 45. Let's go back to 40. Or we can try 35. Let's look at that. Yeah, I like 35 better. Feels like it matches a little bit more. I am going to take off stick to grid. And I am going to click this quite a few times on top here. They should be going on top of the path. Those that don't go on top of the path, I'll move them on top. But it makes it look more like a animal-made path or a path that gets constantly overgrown. Too many of these are going underneath the path. I can't tell where I'm clicking. Come on, move up. Sometimes Dungeon Painter Studio will do that. They'll stick stuff. As you stick stuff on the edges usually, yeah, like that one, it guesses that you wanted it underneath. Okay, let me stick those ones. There's a couple that didn't make it. Now let's look at the map, zoomed out. That looks pretty good. I'm going to stick a few more on the edges, which will probably end up underneath. The edges are almost more important than the ones that are out in the middle, because then it kind of breaks up that edge. And now that we've got those, we're just going to group these and call it path foliage. And now I'm going to stick a few more of these just among some of the rocks here and there. And then I'm going to move on to some other foliage too. Now I want to go back to random angle. Big bush. And let's take another one of these big bushes. I kind of don't like that angle. me see if I can get, there we go. That's kind of what I was looking for. Maybe like right there. Oh, see those ones. All of these should be on top of the rocks. I don't want to use anything with a rock because I decided to use these brown rocks, and other colored rocks will just look out of place. There is a nice bush over here somewhere that I really like using, but again, the rock is like a gray. I can use some of this foliage as long as I don't use the ones with rocks. And I might stick one like right there. Use a different one right there. These big empty spaces, though, I'm going to put trees and bigger bushes. So, and then on the corners, I am going to use some foliage color or edges. But let's go ahead and, for now, we're just going to call this one done. If I feel like I need more of that, I can do more of that. I am going to mix in some shrubbery, some bushes. And for some reason, they're going on top or underneath the rocks, probably because I just aware I clicked. Again, this is where I want to put the camp, so I don't want to cover that up too much. I'm going to use another color of bush in a second, so let me... okay. And let me go back. I'm going to grab just these normal green, just for some accents. It makes things pop a little bit when you have multiple colors. And I think I'm going to throw in a couple of little yellow bushes, and I'm going to leave them little. Okay, now I need to grab everything and make sure all the bushes are up here above the foliage. And then I want to look how things are grouped. So this yellow bush, I'm going to move it down. It's way up on top. I want it actually underneath the bigger bush. That looks pretty good though. I'm going to go ahead and group those. Obviously, we're just going to call this bushes. Okay, now I'm going to go. I did this out of order, but I usually do the edges, as I might call them. Do I want this set or this? I think I'm going to use the set that's actually in the jungle set. Oops. These ones. They're a little smaller, though. Maybe I will use the ones from the forest. The second set from the forest clearing. They're kind of big. I kind of want kind of big. As you'll notice, I don't have stick to grid on because I do want to be very specific about where these kind of line up and how they look. And it's okay that I'm doing that. Oh wait, that's my edge over here. I keep forgetting. I don't want a huge one over here then. I want a smaller one. Because I don't want to cover up that rock. It looks really, really cool the way it looks right now. And I could probably stick this big one here. I do want a bit of that branch, but maybe not the whole thing. Maybe like that. That looks pretty good. again, the same kind of thing. I don't want to cover up everything. So there. Now, if you remember, this is our edge of the map right here. So all this stuff is not going to show, and all this stuff isn't going to show. Anything over here isn't going to show, because those 4 white squares, the inner point on each of them marks where the edge of our map that we're actually going to export is. So I'm going to go ahead and group these, call them forest frameworks. And then we're going to add some trees, but not too many, just a few. And are we in? No, we're in the forest clearing. I want the jungle set, I think. I just want a handful of trees. Not even that. Probably like 3 trees is all. Because we're going to have a camp. Let's see. I think I'm going to do one of these and then both of the palm trees. Or I could do 4 smaller trees. I usually make them a little bit larger. I think that's what I'll do. I'll do... Let's see. Nah, the more I look at it, the more I want it. Like 3 large ones. I'm going to stick a tree here. And these need to go way up here. Actually, they go above the edge, because I like the way they cover up the edge sometimes. Actually, in this case, because of these, I'm going to go ahead and have these. You imagine that these edge trees are like really, really big. They're the canopy trees. These are just stunted trees growing in the middle of this little clearing. That's a nice small one, but I don't want it right here in the middle of my camp. I want it over here on the edge, maybe. Like that. And then we'll do 1 palm tree. I like this other one a little bit better. And I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Like that. So, and if you've ever seen me do my maps before, if you've seen my other videos, you know I like to group the trees up. I'm going to rename the group trees. Immediately go to effects. Apply the long shadow. Edit the long shadow. Increase the distance. I like the angle that goes up and to the right. Increase the alpha. And then I go back and I turn the opacity down to about 60. And then we're going to stick stumps that represent the tree trunks. I'm going to use a big one right here, and one right here, and then one medium one right here. And then we're going to group these stumps. And put them under the trees. There you go. So, now here's the thing. We've got path and path foliage, which can be turned off, each of them, so that there's not a path. And then we're also going to make a camp, and we're going to put that all right in here, and the camp will be able to be turned on and turned off. And because the camp's only going to show up at night, we don't have to worry about like having a campfire on and off. I am going to start with the campfire, though, in the center of the camp, because it kind of gives us an idea of where everything's going to go. I'm going to go ahead and put it right there. And then I'm going to put like a little lean-to above the fire, and maybe there's a little cook pot hanging to cook from. If I stick that right under there, it looks like it's hanging. Okay, then I'm wondering about maybe the party carries a canoe or not, but not all parties in Chult are carrying around a canoe, so maybe I won't include that. Not everybody sleeps in a hammock, so I won't include those. But almost every D&D character is carrying around uh, a sleeping bag or a bedroll, and then most characters have some sort of tent. So I am going to include one tent just in case there's at least one person in the party usually has a tent. Where's the edge of our map? The edge is right there. Okay. So I can go back a little bit here. And not worry about it. And then maybe just for fun, I'm going to include a lean-to as well. Kind of, I don't know, maybe not. Or I could do a little tent. I don't want to overdo it on the details. Let's see. Maybe we'll just do the bed rolls. So I am going to click on random angle, and I think these bed rolls are usually too big. I like to go down to about 75%. What am I at? 70 is good. That's still like if you look at that, that's like a 10-foot long bedroll according to the. Well, I mean that's like over 5 feet long. That's probably fine. 75 is usually a little more where I go, just a little bit bigger. And I usually do try to stick one. If I've got a tent, I have one sticking out, but this is a fairly big tent, so I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm going to stick yeah, we'll do three. That way, assuming that there's one or more inside the tent, and I'll do one of each variant. And this one over here. And I think I'm gonna make an area as if they trampled down the snow, the forest underneath there. So right on top of my forest frame, I'm gonna pick this dark earth without the hash marks, and I'm just gonna make a tiny area like that. But I'm gonna take the opacity down to about 60, I think. I don't know if I like the way that looks. I know what I'm looking for in my head, but I'm not sure if that matches up in my head with what I really wanted. It does, sort of. I'm gonna go ahead and my dog decided he has an opinion. He doesn't like it, I guess. Maybe if I just make it smaller. Let me cut that out and go a little bit smaller so it's just barely showing. And then take the opacity. Let's try 70 first. Let's go up a little bit. If we go up as high as the path, that looks okay. The path is at 80 or 85 or something like that. What does it look like without it? I'm not sure I like that because I don't know about any of you, but I would have. On the other hand, you really wouldn't need to dig outside of where the rocks are. So, if you gathered up some rocks and then you got rid of the grass and stuff inside that area, yeah, that looks okay. I don't know. I'm probably just overthinking this. I think we're done though. We don't really need. Oh, I usually do add some backpacks. Somebody's moving around outside or something. My dog can hear it, so he's barking. Sorry about that. I do usually add some backpacks. Um, Sitting around. And I think I will do that. And maybe something else. I'm trying to think. Some kind of detail. The little bucket's kind of cool. Kind of like the bucket. mean, if you're going to have a camp, you might as well have details. So, we're going to move. This backpack needs to be up here. And let me group all this up. It's camp. There shouldn't be a reason why I can't move this down here, so it's all next to the path and stuff. Yeah. Okay. So we are ready to export. So this is where you get your variants going. You export. Where this would be for the nighttime camp with a road. And we're gonna drag. Oh, I just realized I'm missing something that I would usually have. So at least we got that arranged. I usually have a grid key square. And I think we're going to stick it up here because it's not going to cover up anything. I like it to be all the way on top so I know what it is. Okay, so once again, this would be nighttime camp with road. So, and why is our map width 30 and height is 25? Did I not count right? I made it wider across the top than it needed to be. That is okay. It's just a slightly big. I mean, if we cut it down widthwise, we're just gonna lose. We're gonna have to move everything around, but that's okay. This one will just be slightly bigger than my usual random battle maps. It's not a big deal. It's not like anybody ever complains this map is too big, except, well, technically they do. I mean, but not this size. If I had it 6 or 7,000 pixels, like it was 60 by 25, that might be a little annoying. So one of these days it's gonna pop up. There we go. And well, this one is gonna go with this set, but technically I think I put all the jungle stuff in here. Yeah, I do. Okay, so this is, I believe this is Jungle 07. It is. Jungle 07. This is Jungle 07 Road Camp Night. No. The night would come first, I think. Night Road Camp. I try to keep my naming conventions the same so I can find things easier. Okay, so we have a night version without the camp, but with the road, so we're going to export that one. And if any of you are in a hurry, or you can skip ahead probably about 10 minutes and I'll be actually doing stuff in Photoshop. But right now I'm just exporting all the different versions. I haven't even thought ahead of how many different versions I need to export. I know I'm not going to do the gridded versions. I'll do those later out of the video. I'm just doing the ungridded versions because I'm going to export ones with grids for each of these as well. So we did the camp one. That was the only camp. Well, no, we would have a camp one without the road. I just realized. Because I'm trying to get as many variants as I can to give people as many options as possible. So this is the night with a road, but no camp. Right? Because that's what I turned off, right? Okay, so now we're going to turn off the path and the path foliage and turn back on the camp. And we'll export this one. And I think that takes care of... Well, that takes care of the two different camp variants. We still need one night one with no road. And that'll take care of both the camp variants, both the night variants, and then we just need one day variant. Let me just double check I actually listed them out here. 1 day variant. Oh, I know I need 2 day variants. One with a day, one with a road. But I'll have this night one done, the night one with the road done. Okay, so this one was night camp with no road. Right? So now we're done with the camp. This would be day with no road. I got too many variants going. So let's see. We did night with a road. I think. Let me double check. I know I did these ones. Let me control dash. Those ones I can cross out. Let me just go to DPS. All random originals. Where are we? Jungle 07. Those are the 3 we've done. This is day with no other words, just day. No road, no nothing. Okay, and we're going to do... There was one other night version. I think this is also the night version with nothing going on. I need to turn... Oh, and I just realized this is... Okay, so we've got the one... Hold on. That's why my naming convention is... Okay, so this is night with just the camp. Hold on. Day and night I take care of elsewhere. That's why I'm... Okay, this is just road. And this one is just road and camp. Oops. I take care of night elsewhere. That's why I'm screwing myself up. Okay, so I've got one with just the camp. Got one with just empty. Oops. Okay. Got the basic one that does day and night. This is a camp at night with no road. This is a camp at night with a road. And then this is day night with a road. I believe that's everything I need. Day and night are covered by that first map. Day road would be covered with the road. Night road would be the one covered with just the road. And then I got the camp ones. Okay, I've got everything I need. I just don't have any of the gridded versions. I'm going to need a gridded version of all 4 of those for later. But I'm not going to do that in this video. I don't need to... You guys don't need to see that. It'll be just the same. Okay, we're just going to save this as Jungle 07 DPS. And then we're going to go ahead and we'll start with this one. Load it up in Photoshop. And okay, oops. I am going to move this out of the way a little bit. And then we're going to take all 4 of these, drag them there. Check, check, check. And then we're going to delete the background. Yeah, I don't. Okay, and then we're going to rasterize all these layers. Now, I won't be able to save and export because I don't have the gridded versions in here yet, but I am going to go ahead and save this file. I'm doing that because yesterday I accidentally deleted one that I wasn't ready to... Luckily, I'd already exported the full-size version, so I just needed to... I hadn't saved the virtual tabletop versions, but I could load up the full-size version and export those, but yeah. I lost my Photoshop file that had all the work done. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new layer. We're going to call this one darkness. And then we're going to create a new layer called firelight. And then we're going to create a new layer. And 2-minute logo, because I am going to load up my 2-minute tabletop logo. And add that in. Come on. There it goes. Copy, paste, and we're going to move that up here and where we always put it, or at least where I always put it. Come on. Can't get it just right. There we go. That's good enough. Okay, we're going to hit this darkness layer. I am going to change it to black, change to the paint bucket tool. Just going to paint it black. Turn the opacity to 50%. I'm going to create a can't think now. Layer mask. I'm going to grab my brush tool. I am going to use this HP brush final from the Durian set, which if you search for Durian paintbrush set, I think in Google, you can find where you download it. It's downloaded from DeviantArt, and it is free. 200 pixels, that sounds fine. What we're going to be doing is taking away from the light uh, here where this fire is. And if you've never seen me do this before, I do this in a lot of videos with light. But we start by taking away a large area where the dimmest light goes. And in this case, there's not really going to be much that blocks the light, although I am not going to go over the canopy. So you get to see me kind of go around there. And then the tent itself is going to block some of the light, but for the most part, it doesn't really, it's not a huge amount. And then once we've got that done, I'm just going to fill in everywhere. If you wanted to, you could have this bush here block the light, but I'm not going to worry about it. More than anything, this is just a detail that just makes the map look nicer. In the case of this particular random encounter map, it's not going to really change the way your encounter plays out, probably, because there's just not much over here. Now I'm going to move out to kind of where the bright light ends. And I probably made that circle a little bit too big on one side, but it's okay. Having it imperfect is better. And then I usually do one more circle. Once again, I kind of feel like this should just go out more just to make it. And then I usually click right here on the fire a bunch just to make sure I get rid of all the darkness right where the fire is. Or the light, whatever light source you're using. And now we're going to add the firelight. And to do that, I like to pick a color. Usually somewhere in the oranges, but kind of like light like that. And we are going to use our paintbrush. It's set to 25% opacity. And in this, because we're not using a layer mask, you go in reverse, which means you start with a small, instead of starting large and going in, you start small and go out. So first I'm going to make a very small circle right here on the fire. Then I'm going to let go of the mouse and go out a little bit bigger. And fill in a little bit. And then I'm going to go one more circle, not too big, just kind of where our bright edge was. And you don't have to be perfect and fill in absolutely anything. That's why one of the reasons I use this smoky brush, because I think it looks cooler. Doesn't look perfect. And then I usually click a few times because I do want really bright firelight right here. But then I'm going to take the opacity down. I'm going to start at about 40. And I still think that's a little too high. We're going to try 30. Because you just want a little bit of color with the light, not overpowering. And I think, what happened? Oh, it doesn't want to zoom with this tool. There we go. I wanted to zoom out. There we go. That looks pretty good to me. It looks a little smoky. I mean, and if you don't like that look, you can use a different brush. I would suggest if you don't like the smoky look, to use a soft brush. That soft round pressure opacity one is up here with your general brushes, or you could just use a soft round one. I've also used like the smoke brush or a cloud brush. I have tried using like I'm trying to think of other brushes I've used. I know I've tried using some charcoal brushes and things like those. If you don't like the way this one looks, I personally like the way this looks, so that's why I use it. Uh, at this point, we are done making any modifications we need to make to this map. The only thing now that we need to do is save it. And because we have all these different variations all loaded in here, all you have to do is just like when we exported, you just kind of unclick the visibility of what you need. See, now I took away everything except the darkness and the firelight, and now everything except the logo. So, for instance, if we were just doing jungle day, right there, you're done. Jungle night, oh, we do need a second darkness layer because of, I just realized that. I'm going to stick this one here. So there is one more modification we need to do. Because what if you have darkness without the fire? And again, I like 50% opacity for darkness. So there would be, so if we saved it like this, if we export a JPEG or save a copy of a JPEG with this, that's jungle day. If we click this, that's jungle night. If we wanted jungle day with a road, that would be this one. Jungle night with a road, that one. Okay, if you do a camp, we would do this one and this one, these ones, because there's not really much reason to have a camp during the day, so that's why I don't include those. And then of course, the other variant would be with the road. And then I also, because I upload these for people who don't use Fantasy Grounds, I also include gridded versions. So I will do those elsewhere, but yeah, there would be 4 more of these and 4 more exports to do, or more. I think it was a total of how many variants? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So when I export them in my published version for non-Fantasy Grounds users, they would get the 6 VTT versions that Fantasy Grounds users would get. They'd also get 6 full-size versions for those who don't like grids, but want a higher capacity that Fantasy Grounds doesn't really handle very well. And then they would also get the gridded version. So that's one of the reasons why these all the different map variants and stuff are why my the zip files for these, if you're one of those people who buy the PDFs, they're so big. It's because there's so many different variants of the files. But I think people actually like the options. So this is the end of this video. If you have any questions or anything, please do post them in the chat. And if you haven't already subscribed and commented on a video, please do so. We are doing a giveaway at the beginning of April. Somebody's going to get at least one thing from my DMs Guild account, anything that I've made, including bundles. And then we also had a user also donate a copy of Dungeon Painter Studio to the winner. So yeah, it's shaping up to be a nice little prize for not much effort on your part. So if you haven't done that, please do so. And I'll see you later.